My name is Elena. I am 30 years old. I live in a small, quiet town where the streets are lined with old trees and where everyone seems to know everyone. From the outside, people believe my life is perfect. They see me walking to work in the morning, neat hair, clean clothes, a polite smile on my face. They see me on weekends strolling with my husband or sitting beside him at the cafe. They wave, they nod, they smile, and I smile back. But they don't know the truth. They don't know what I feel inside. Every morning I wake up with a heavy heart. Every night I close my eyes with a quiet tear slipping down my cheek. 1 year ago, I made a mistake. I married a man named David. David is 35 years old. He is, by every definition, a good man. He wakes up early each morning and brews coffee, just the way I like it, 1 spoon of sugar, not too much milk. He buys me flowers on Fridays, roses or lilies, and places them in a glass vase on our small kitchen table. He writes kind notes, scribbled on yellow sticky pads, and hides them in my lunch bag. Have a good day, Elena. Thinking of you. He calls me my light. He kisses my forehead. He looks at me like I am his whole world. He loves me. But I do not love him. I try to be kind in return. I say thank you. I smile when I should. I nod at the right moments. But my heart feels empty. I married David because I was broken. Because once, not too long ago, I gave my heart to another man. His name was Michael. He was my first love. Michael came into my life when I was 24. He was tall, with messy hair and a crooked smile that made me laugh even when I wanted to stay serious. He had a restless energy about him, like the world was too small for him, like he was always chasing something more. And I loved him. Deeply. Desperately. Entirely. For 3 years, Michael was my everything. We dreamed together. We spoke of travel, of children, of building a life. I thought he was the one. But one cold winter evening, when the snow had covered the streets and the windows fogged with frost, Michael looked at me with tired eyes and said the words that shattered me. I'm not ready for love. I can't do this anymore. And then he left. I cried for weeks. I barely ate. I barely slept. My body felt weak, but my heart felt weaker. Every street, every song, every place reminded me of him. It was as if the world had turned into a museum of our memories, and I was forced to walk through it again and again. I thought I would never heal. And that was when David appeared. David was kind. David listened. David didn't ask too many questions. He let me speak when I wanted to and sat quietly when I couldn't. One evening, when I was still wrapped in grief, he looked at me and said, "Elena, you are special. I want to make you happy." I was still drowning in sorrow, but his kindness felt like a hand reaching into the water. I said yes to dinner. I said yes to his help. I said yes to walks in the park, to cups of coffee, to his quiet care. And then, one day, I said yes to his proposal. I told myself that maybe love would come later. Maybe my broken heart would heal in his warmth. Maybe happiness could be built, even if it didn't start with passion. But I was wrong. Every day since, I have been pretending. I pretend to be the wife he deserves. I laugh when I should laugh. I hold his hand when people look. I answer, "I'm fine," when he asks how I am. But the truth is, I am not fine. I am living a life that doesn't belong to me. One evening, David prepared my favorite dinner. He cooked pasta with garlic bread. He lit candles. He played soft music on the old stereo. He wore the blue shirt I once said looked good on him. During dinner, he looked at me and said, "You are my everything." I smiled. But inside, I felt cold. Later that night, we walked to the park. The stars were scattered across the sky like silver dust. We stopped under the tree where he had once asked me to marry him. He held my hand tightly and said, "I still remember that day. You said yes." It was the best day of my life. He was glowing with joy. I was hollow with silence. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, my chest heavy, my eyes wet from hidden tears. My best friend's name is Mia. She has known me since childhood. One evening, I sat with her at a small cafe near the lake. She looked at me with concern. "Elena, you look tired. Is everything okay?" I looked down at my hands, trembling slightly on the table. I whispered, I don't love him, Mia. I never did. Mia was silent for a moment. Then she asked softly, "Then why did you marry him?" I swallowed hard. Because I was broken. Because Michael left me. Because I didn't want to be alone. David was kind, and I thought it would be enough. Mia reached across the table and touched my hand. "You deserve to be happy, Elena. And so does he." Her words cut through me like a blade, because I knew they were true. One evening, David sat beside me on the sofa. His eyes were gentle, his hand warm against mine. "Elena," he said, "can I ask you something?" "Yes." He hesitated, then whispered, "Do you want to have a baby?" My heart stopped. A baby with a man I did not love. "I think maybe it will bring us closer," he continued. "Maybe it will help us grow together." I couldn't breathe. My throat was dry. I whispered, "I'm not ready." David nodded slowly, his eyes dim with quiet pain. "Okay," he said. "I understand." But I knew he didn't understand. He was still hoping. And I had nothing to give. That night, I wrote in my journal, "A child won't fix this. It will only bring more sadness. I feel like I'm drowning in kindness. David deserves love. I cannot give it." For weeks, I carried the weight of silence. Until one night, I finally broke it. I made tea for both of us. My hands were trembling as I placed the cups on the table. I sat beside him and said, "David, I need to tell you something." He looked at me calmly, but I saw worry in his eyes. "Okay." I took a deep breath. "I care about you. You're kind and you are good. But I don't love you. I never did. I married you because I was hurting. I thought love would come later, but it didn't." David looked down at his hands. Then he said quietly, "I knew." My breath caught. "You did?" "Yes." "I saw it in your eyes, Elena. I just didn't want to believe it." Tears spilled down my face. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you." He nodded slowly. "I love you, Elena. I always will. But I can't be the only one trying. If your heart isn't here, I can't hold you." We sat in silence. No shouting, no anger, just sadness. A soft sadness that filled the room like smoke. That night, I slept on the couch. And for the first time in a long time, I felt honest. The days that followed were heavy. We lived in the same apartment, but we were like strangers. He still made coffee in the mornings, but there were no flowers, no notes, no smiles. Only silence. One evening, I told him, "I think I should move out." He nodded. He didn't look surprised. "Do you have somewhere to go?" "Yes." Mia offered me her guest room. David's eyes softened. "I'm not angry. Just sad. But maybe this is the right thing." Tears burned my eyes. "You've always been good to me. I never deserved you." He gave a small smile. "I don't regret loving you, Elena. Not even now." The next morning, I packed my bag. Clothes, my journal, a few books. The apartment felt heavy with memories, even though it had only been 1 year. David helped carry my bag to the door. "Take care, Elena," he said softly. "Thank you for everything," I whispered. And then I left. Mia's apartment, I cried. Not because I missed David, but because everything felt heavy, sad, and strange. Yet under all of that, I felt lighter. For the first time, I had told the truth. The days at Mia's place passed slowly. We cooked together. We watched movies. Sometimes she gave me space to sit alone in the guest room and think. I began walking by the lake. Watching the world move helped me feel that I, too, could move. One day, I saw a flyer for a creative writing class, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Come and write your story. Something in me whispered, "Try this." I signed up. And when I began to write, I felt a small spark inside me. For the first time, I wasn't writing lies in my journal. I was writing truth. Months passed. I found a small studio apartment of my own. It wasn't big, but it was mine. I painted the walls light yellow. I put fresh flowers on the windowsill. I made coffee in the mornings just for myself. Sometimes I felt lonely, but I also felt free. I still thought about David, but with gratitude, not regret. He deserved someone who could give him the love he gave so freely. One day, I found the necklace he had given me, a gold heart. I couldn't wear it, but I couldn't throw it away. I wrote him a note. Thank you for your kindness. I will never forget it. I sent it back through Mia. As the seasons changed, I changed too. I smiled more. I laughed more. I felt stronger. One evening, I looked in the mirror. I saw a woman with tired eyes, but a soft smile. A woman who had been lost, but was now finding her way. And I whispered, "It's not a perfect story, but it's mine." If you are reading this and you feel stuck, if you feel like you are living a life that doesn't belong to you, know this. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to start again. Be honest. Be brave. Your heart knows the truth. Sometimes, being real is the bravest thing we can be.